Okay, so today we're gonna talk about listening in IELTS. This exam is up to 30 minutes. It will be four recordings. The first recording is about a conversation between two people set in an everyday context. The second recording will be a monologue set in an everyday social context. It could be a speech about a local facilities. The third recording will be a conversation between two up to four people, set in an educational or training context. It could be an university tutor talking about something, or it could be a student asking questions about some assignment. The fourth recording will be a monologue on an academic subject. It could be a university text or thesis or something like that. Okay, so as I already said, this exam is up to 30 minutes. It will have different tasks that you should do, but I will explain it later. The first one is about number of questions. There are 40 questions that you will be answering that day, and the marks will be dependent. If someone is each question is worth like 1 mark. Okay, so multiple choice is the first task you're gonna have. The multiple choice is about they're gonna give you questions and it will be followed by three possible answers, or the beginning of the sentences followed by three possible answers or ways to complete it. And the number of questions is really variable. And in this task, you're gonna use it. It'll be more that you use a well-written of skills to show that you know the language. Okay, so the task type 2 is matching. In matching, you're going to be required to match a number list of items from the listening text to a set of options of the question paper. Um, they will not have like a specific topic. It will depend on the recording you are. Okay, so the number of questions is also will be variable, and the idea is that you can understand information given in a conversation on an everyday topic. The task type 3 is a plan, a map, or a diagram, a labeling. You're gonna be required to complete labels on a plan, like it could be a building, or a part of a town, or a map, or something like that. The numbers of questions are also variable in the whole text. They're in the whole one up to 40, but not in a specific section. They have a number. It could be 3 or 4. The idea is for you to can describe a place, and you can show that you have a range vocabulary and way of listening. The fourth type is about a form, a note, a table, a flow chart, or a summary completion. In this one, you're gonna be required to fill the gaps in an outline of a part or of a listening text. The outline will focus on the main idea, facts in the tense, maybe a form, a set of notes, as I already said before. The idea in this one is that you may focus on the main point, which a listener will naturally record in this type of situation, and which a speaker could identify. The task number 5 is about sentence completions. In this one, you're going to be required to read a sentence and summarizing key information from all the listening text or from a part of it. In this task, you will be using information from the listening text, and our limit is going to give it to you. Like it could be no more than 3 words, no more than 5, or the number you're up to. And finally, the sixth one is about the short answers questions. In this one, you're gonna be required to read questions and then write a short answer using information from the listening text. Our limit will be given to you as in the examples before. The number of questions are also variable. Here you have they will give you a band. As I already said, there are 40 questions, so you need to be really careful of what you're writing or what you're listening and to not get distracted. I'm going to give you some strategies which I use, and I think they're very helpful for this part of the exam. So the first one is the IELTS listening will only be played once. So you must be really prepared. You cannot be distracted. You cannot look to your partner. You cannot look to your examiner. Just you and your exams, and you got to be focused. The first strategy that I recommend you is to listen to conversations in English, videos, movies, music, before you get into the exam, so you can familiarize with the language. in consideration that you will listen to everyday social context, they will be so helpful. Another strategy that I propose is before starting your test when listening, you have open questions. So try to imagine or deduce where it can go. For example, if they ask you something about um, for example, Alam said he have this certain age. So if they talking about age, they're absolutely talking about a number. So try to think about that. Or if they tell you like Alan, describe is this people is brown, for example, is short. You know that in that part you have to write an adjective. Yeah, like Alan describes these people, so you have to. It must be an adjective. Another strategy that I recommend is that in addition to being aware of the audio all the time, if you do not understand what they are saying, try to pay attention to the questions and colloquial words. They could be like, "How are you today?" And if you don't know what it means, "Are you today?" You know about how, so you know like it could be a state of something, like that. Another is to try to have a general context of what the conversation is about. If you don't know a specific what they're talking about, try to have a general context of what they're talking about. If they're talking about dogs, if they're talking about last night party, you need to have a context that they're talking about that. Another one is always before starting the text in the time given before, read the questions very carefully as many times as necessary. This is even more important than all the strategies that I have already given you. Because if you are aware of the questions, you will know certainly what you will be searching for in the listening. So I hope these strategies and the explanation of the text will be so helpful.